A two-candidate preferred count, known as a TCP count, may be conducted where there are more than two candidates contesting an election. To be elected in a preferential election, a candidate has to get more than half the total votes. Often, a distribution of preferences is required to see which candidate gets more than half the votes, but this can only be done on the final day of counting once all eligible ballot papers have been admitted to the count. A TCP count may be done before this to give an early indication where voters' preferences may go. The NT Electoral Commission selects the two candidates assumed most likely to be elected. This selection is based on a number of factors, including historical voting patterns, and is kept confidential until the close of voting. A TCP count is conducted after a first preference count. The count supervisor or voting centre manager opens the sealed envelope provided by the NT Electoral Commission. It contains a pre-filled in result slip for the TCP count. This will advise who the two preferred candidates are and the order of the TCP count. To set up the table for a TCP count, follow the TCP result slip. The two preferred candidates are listed in the top row of the result slip and therefore place the ballot paper packages for the same two candidates at the top of the count table in the same order. All candidates are listed down the left-hand side of the result slip. Minus the two preferred candidates, place the ballot paper packages for the remaining candidates on the left-hand side of the count table in the same order as the result slip. Put aside the package of informal votes. It is not needed for this count. Once set up, the count table should reflect the result slip. After setting up the count table and before conducting the count, the table supervisor writes the first preference count results for each candidate on the TCP result slip. These totals can be found on the sorting card for each candidate. In the columns listing the two preferred candidates, the first preference count for that candidate is written again. This means the two preferred candidates will have their first preference total written twice on the result slip. The ballot paper packages for the two preferred candidates are only used as sorting cards for this count. Do not open them. The ballot paper packages for the remaining candidates are only to be opened one at a time. Open the ballot paper package for the first unselected candidate and remove the ballot papers. Sort the ballot papers, one bundle at a time, to the preferred candidate who received the voter's highest preference. The voter's highest preference is indicated by the lowest number. For example, if a voter gave candidate 1 their second preference and candidate 2 their fourth preference, their ballot paper would go to candidate 1. A quick way to do the distribution of preferences is to identify the location on the ballot paper of each preferred candidate and distribute to the preferred candidate with the lowest number. Continue until every ballot paper for that candidate has been placed under one of the two preferred candidates. Count the pile of distributed ballot papers for each preferred candidate. The table supervisor will write the totals on the result slip. The ballot papers that were just distributed are then recounted into bundles of 50, secured with rubber bands, and put back where they started. Once bundled again, place the ballot papers inside or under the original sorting card and back into their packaging bag. Return the packaged ballot papers to its position on the count table. Repeat the distribution process for the next candidate listed on the result slip. Once the results have been recorded and the ballot papers have been rebundled, packaged and returned, repeat again for the next candidate, and so on. Once this has been done for all of the unselected candidates, check the results sheet to ensure that the total number of formal first preference votes is the same number as the total of the two candidate preferred count. To do this, add the totals for each preferred candidate together. If the first preference total does not add up to the two candidate preferred total, you will need to find the error. If there are any errors identified during any stage of the TCP count, advise your table supervisor. The results should then be phoned in or handed in to be recorded and published by the NT Electoral Commission. There will be no further counts after a two-candidate preferred count. Each ballot paper package can now be sealed and prepared for its secure return.